Ah, ooh. Ah, ooh. Ah, ooh. Ah, ooh. Take me home today. Take me out to play. Take me back into that sweet, sweet melody.
Good morning everyone and welcome to a brand new Disney World vlog. I don't have my ears on yet, you will notice, but I will have them on soon enough. I'm heading over to Saratoga Springs this morning because I'm staying there just for one night this evening because I'm going to the Halloween party in the Magic Kingdom, which I've been really looking forward to the whole trip. I wanted to stay there this evening because I am normally one of the last people out when I go to those parties, and then I won't have to get an Uber back over here and I can just go back to Saratoga Springs, which will be a lot easier. And then the following day I can just go right to Epcot, which is my last day in the parks. Then I'll come back here tomorrow evening and then the following morning I'll be checking out. So that is my plan for the next couple of days. I've got the owner's locker down there all packed up and ready to go. I just need to go downstairs to Bell Services to grab a luggage cart thing to take it downstairs. There's no way I can carry it, it's super heavy, because I'm going to take that with me to Saratoga Springs and they are going to be collecting it from there. And from Saratoga Springs I'm going to go across to Disney Springs to eat at Cityworks, which I've never done before. That's a brand new restaurant to me. And as soon as I'm done there, I'll then head to the Magic Kingdom. I'm going to do a wandering Q&A today. I know you guys have really enjoyed those episodes in the past. I've done one in each park so far, and I thought I would do the Magic Kingdom today. So I've put something on my stories on Instagram asking for questions, and I will answer those as I go around the Magic Kingdom. And then this evening's Halloween party will be the next episode, because otherwise that would be a super long episode. So I'll do the Halloween party separately. So that's the plan of action. I'm going to go and grab a luggage trolley to get rid of this owner's locker, and then go and get myself an Uber. I've arrived here at Saratoga Springs. The owner's locker is dropped off with Bell Services, which is right at the front there where they drop you off in the Uber. So now I just need to check in. Hopefully my room is already ready. So I'm all checked in and all sorted, and I think I'm going to just show you a little bit around the lobby here before I head across to Disney Springs. I'm probably going to get a bus because I'm right here by the bus stop, the main one at the Springs, and it is just honestly so incredibly hot. I don't really want to walk if I'm totally honest. So Artist Palette is the quick service location that they have here, and this leads through to Turf Club at the end there where there's a lounge and a restaurant. And they also have this store here which I really like. It's quite a nice open area. They always have Disney Vacation Club items, of course, with this being a DVC resort, that all of the rooms are actually DVC here, although you can pay to stay here in cash if you want to. It's not that you have to be a DVC member, but they don't have any regular hotel rooms. They are all DVC studios or 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms and grand villas. I did wonder whether I really should have more of a Halloween vibe today because I don't have a costume. I don't really do costumes. I normally wear some sort of Halloween t-shirt or something, but this time I am just in my classic red polka dot. I don't know. I probably should have gone a bit more Halloween, but never mind. And they also do have Saratoga Springs specific merchandise. They have the t-shirt there, and I love this little Christmas ornament. Oh, it lights up as well apparently. Oh, I guess the little headlights light up. Obviously I won't try it out because it's got one of those little tabs in it, but that's very cool. I always want to buy things like this when I see them, but I do not need any more. And down here, if you go down this hallway and out the back, is where you can get the boat across to Disney Springs. Just be aware with the boat now, it only stops over at Marketplace, so it will go all the way down to the very far end where you have the Christmas store and Once Upon a Toy, like the older section of Disney Springs. The boat will take you there. It used to stop in West Side, in the middle and there. It doesn't anymore. So if you get the boat across and actually you have a dinner reservation at West Side, you're going to end up totally at the wrong end. So if you do need to go to West Side, you'd be better either walking or getting the bus. This is the quick service location. They also have some really nice desserts and some celebration cakes there you can get as well. Some healthy items. And it looks like they have sandwiches. All of their sandwiches and stuff come with the Saratoga chips, which are like handmade chips. They're really nice. By chips, I mean in the US sense, potato chips, not French fries. They also have pizza and salads, chicken strips, all the usual kind of things. And with it being a DVC resort, they do also have a grocery section. Whenever it's a DVC resort, because the villas have kitchens and things, they do have a bit more of a range of food stuff, drinks. They have like a frozen section back here, just so people can make kind of simple meals themselves rather than always having to eat out. And you have your refillable mug station here as well, of course, like all of the resorts. And outside of the quick service area, you then have the pool. They do have several pools at Saratoga Springs. This is the main one. Then you have some smaller pools around by the other buildings because it is a very big resort. This resort is kind of similar to some of the moderates like Caribbean Beach and Coronado Springs, and also Old Key West is similar in that respect, where you have lots of buildings. It's quite big and spread out, and you have multiple bus stops that go throughout the whole resort. All of those resorts are similar in that way. And the pool we were just looking at is here, and then the bus stop is just there. So this is the main one if you're in the lobby area. This is the one I'm going to go to. And they do also have this treehouse villa bus, because Saratoga Springs has a kind of, I wouldn't say sister resort, it's all part of the Saratoga Springs resort, but they have treehouse villas which are kind of separate from this main bit. They sleep a lot more people. That's very convenient timing. I've arrived here at a fairly quiet Disney Springs. It's not too late in the day, it's only around lunchtime, and it's a Tuesday, I believe, today. So this will be one of the quieter times. And CityWorks is over at Westside, like we saw the other day, and I'm just going to make my way over now. I do kind of need coffee because I haven't had one yet today. I'm assuming they'll have coffee there, although I'm a little bit early, so maybe I'll get a Starbucks on the way over. And I've never eaten there before. I don't know what the menu is like. I don't even know what they have. I haven't looked. Normally I kind of look and see what I'm going to get before I even go, but I haven't, so it's all going to be a complete surprise to me. And this store, Sugar Boo & Co, is really interesting. I won't go in there today, but I have been in on previous trips, and they just have some really interesting gift kind of items in there. So it's well worth a look. And if you're looking for a quick service dining option at Disney Springs, where you don't have to have a reservation, or something just a bit more budget friendly, then Chicken Guy I can highly recommend. The food there is so good. It's just at the side here of Planet Hollywood. And another thing that I've done several times before and would highly recommend is the rooftop bar at the Coca-Cola store. They have all the different Cokes from around the world, a little bit like Club Cool in Epcot, and they have all sorts of different cocktails and different things up there, but it's a really good view out over Disney Springs. And another unique experience if you're visiting from the UK, because I don't think I've ever seen this in the UK, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I've never seen it, is the dine-in theatre. So this is a cinema, and you can actually eat your meal while you're watching the movie. I have done it once before, and like I say, it was quite a unique experience. I've never done anything like that. And if you go around the other side, so down here and around, is the main entrance to the AMC cinema, but this is the dine-in theatre section on this side by the fountain, and it really is something a little bit different. And they do have this store, Disney Style, which has a lot of the items that we will have seen in other locations, but it's kind of all of the fashion stuff. Let's just take a quick look in here in case they have anything different. And they obviously have a Halloween vibe as soon as we walk in with the Jack Skellington items, and their picture on the wall back here is also being Halloween themed. They have a Little Mermaid display here for the live action film. We saw this Spirit jersey the other day, and I don't think I've seen this Dumbo rain jacket before. I've seen several of the others, but this one, I don't know if it's new, but I've never seen it. And they have this little Jasmine top here. Winnie the Pooh dress. I do love Winnie the Pooh, but that style of dress would not be me at all. This t-shirt is very cute though, with Winnie and Piglet. Love that. And they do have a little ear section back here as well. They don't have all of the styles, but they've got quite a few of them. I'm going to bypass Starbucks and go straight down to CityWorks. I'm actually really hungry because it's lunchtime and I've not eaten anything, and I'm sure they have coffee there. And there used to be more of these food trucks here. There seems to only be that one. They used to have a really good mac and cheese one. Maybe it comes and goes perhaps. And they do have Splitsville bowling here as well, and you can also dine while you're bowling. So if you do enjoy an activity with dinner, kind of like the cinema, this could be an option as well, but you can just eat there in the restaurant. You don't have to be bowling. And if you're looking for Everglazed Donuts, it is in a very sneaky hidden location by the cinema between there and Splitsville. I have had a donut from there before. It was very good. Okay, here we are at CityWorks. I'm a little bit early, but I'm going to see if I can go in now. Let's take a look at this menu. Under bar bites we have cheese curds, fried pickles, popcorn chicken. That sounds nice. You can get that hot or southern fried. I may actually consider getting that. And pretzel bites. Then they have sharing appetizer kind of things. They have a loaded potato flatbread. That actually sounds really good. Duck nachos, sticky ribs, spicy shrimp, soups and salads, pork chops, salmon and fish and chips. They also have a smoked section, so they have a barbecue platter and ribs. They have burgers and sandwiches, pasta and tacos. So it's a big menu. They do have a lot on here. I really, really like the idea of this flatbread. So I think I'm probably going to get that. I do kind of want to try the popcorn chicken though. I don't know whether that and that will be too much for me. I'll ask the server and see what he thinks. And this just gives you an overview of what it looks like in here. They do have a lot of screens because it is kind of like a sports bar vibe. So you can watch sports in here. They have seating outside as well. I do have some coffee. They actually brewed some for me. They probably didn't have a pot of coffee on the go in the middle of the day, which is understandable. I was awake at 5 AM this morning watching the Disneyland Paris hotel reveal, so I need this. Okay, so here is the southern fried popcorn chicken. Like I said, you can get it in like a spicy hot coating, but I've just gone for the southern fried because you know I don't do spicy. Unfortunately, I had to cut the audio here because there was copyright music in the background, but this was basically me saying the chicken was very nice, and because it's cooked from scratch, it was very fresh and not processed at all. So I just had to add this in because I couldn't leave the actual audio in. I was expecting it to be like half of this size. This is huge. I'm going to do my best just to give you more of a close-up. So it has bacon, cheese, and you can see the bits of potato here. And it's quite a thick base as well. It's not like a thin flatbread. Okay, I'm all done in CityWorks. That was actually really nice food in there. The atmosphere was just fine, like nothing to be excited about, no theming particularly or anything. It's just a sports bar kind of vibe, but I did really like the food. It was very quiet in there as well. It's a Tuesday at lunchtime, so I think it'd be a good bet if you didn't have a reservation to go there if you wanted a sit-down lunch. Hey, got my festive fall ears on today. Becky made me these. And I should mention, getting to the parks from Disney Springs, the buses from here only go to the resorts, so they don't have theme park buses. If you want Magic Kingdom, the best bet, and what I'm going to do, is to get the Grand Floridian bus and then get the monorail from there. If you were going to Epcot, you could do various things. You could go to the beach club and then just walk through. You could go to the Riviera Resort and get on the Skyliner across to Epcot. With Hollywood Studios, again, you can maybe go to Caribbean Beach and just get on the Skyliner there. And for Animal Kingdom, I would get on the Animal Kingdom Lodge bus and then just transfer on a bus to Animal Kingdom. I should mention, for Hollywood Studios, you could also get a bus to Boardwalk or Swan and Dolphin or somewhere like that, and then get the boat across to Hollywood Studios. And just by Wolfgang Puck Bar and Grill, you can actually just turn right here, and that takes you out to the buses. Grand Floridian Resort, we want number 9. And this bus goes to Grand Floridian and Polynesian. You could get off at either and get the monorail from either of those resorts to the Magic Kingdom. Grand Floridian is the closest, but is only one stop ahead of Polynesian, so it doesn't make much difference. And while we're here at the bus stop, why not let's kick off the Q&A right here before we've even got to the Magic Kingdom. The bus hasn't arrived yet, so we may as well start doing some questions. So Joanne is saying, how busy is it? It's really not that bad at all in the parks during the day. I haven't experienced long wait times. Animal Kingdom yesterday, Flight of Passage at one point was like 35 minutes, I think, or 40. So the wait times have been quite low. The only thing that is very busy is the Halloween parties. For the most part, they have been sold out and very, very busy. And Susan is asking, has the dining plan recommenced? Not yet, but it will be as of January. I think it's January the 9th. I'll put it on the screen if that's wrong. I'm sure it's the 9th. That's when dining plan will return to Disney World. If you're booking packages now, I'm not sure whether you can add it on for next year. I'm certain you will be able to, because that's when it's recommencing, but just not quite yet. And Abby is saying, what's the best on-site hotel that's not expensive and still in a good location? I would say the best one is Pop Century if you're looking for one that's not too expensive, purely because it has the Skyliner, and the Skyliner gives you access to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. And then for Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom, it will be a bus. But I think price-wise, that one is very, very good for how much it costs. If you go up to a moderate, it's a step up again, and of course the deluxes are quite a bit more. So I think Pop Century, having that Skyliner access, is a really great value hotel. So I decided to get off at the Polynesian because it was the first stop, and I can actually see Donald and Goofy dressed up in their Disney 100 outfits over there, getting onto their own little Disney 100 bus. So I don't know whether they're just touring around the resorts or something. I love the Polynesian so much, and I actually have not visited this trip. So this is perfect, just the most flying visit you can get just to get on the monorail, but still need to get that smell of the Polynesian lobby at least once every trip. One of the cast members once told me that the fragrance is from a company called Scent Air, and the fragrance they use here is called hibiscus tea. I don't think they sell so much on like the regular retail market, it's more for hotels, but I don't know, it might be worth googling it, you may be able to get it. And there is a monorail already there, but we're not going to get that one, I don't think. Things are looking pretty reasonable here right now. I'm sure in a couple of hours time it will be very busy out here with people arriving for the party, so I'm glad I'm getting here a few hours early so that I can take a wander around and just be in the park before everyone starts arriving. I'm through, and they just said anyone who's coming in as a day guest and also doing the party, like myself, there are a few different places within the park to then get your wristband when it comes time at 4 o'clock. They said by Pirates, by PhilharMagic, and I think there's also one in Tomorrowland, so I'll go to one of those places at 4 or around 4 to get that sorted. And my ears tonight are matching this Halloween decor, so although I haven't gone Halloween costume, I've got a bit of a, you know, autumn leaf vibe going on. And everyone is getting ready for the parade here, which will be going by soon.
Dreams will come true, hearts will soar, and you will become a part of the magic. For the time has come to take your places.
I'm going to head back into Fantasyland while the parade is going on. Let's see what the wait is for Small World, because I haven't done that yet this trip. It's a 10-minute wait, so that works. But I'm in Columbia Harbour House now. I've just had to come and get a drink. While I'm here, let's get to more of your questions. Maldives by Olivia is saying, what do you think of the recent Animal Kingdom announcement at D23? I'm assuming you're talking about the reimagining of Dino Land area. Very excited for that. I really think it needs it. That whole area needs an overhaul, and I think it's going to be amazing from what they said so far. And I'm also looking forward to Dinosaur being changed to Indiana Jones. I do love Dinosaur, but I've done the Indiana Jones ride in Tokyo Disney and California, and I loved it, so I'm excited for that too. And Gleason Dad says, how has the weather been this trip? Usually at this time of year you can get a lot of rain and thunderstorms. For the most part there's been no rain other than last night. There was a huge storm, but apart from that there hasn't been any. However, it is hot. Very hot. I was last here in September, would have been 2019, and it definitely wasn't as hot as this, so I will say that it has been extremely warm. I'm feeling like very sweaty right now, having come in from outside, even just walking from one place to the other, like it is hot. Will asks, what is your total number of Disney visits including cruises? Ooh, okay, so are we including all Disney resorts in that? Because, okay, this is my 29th trip to Disney World. I've also done the Disney Staycation Cruise, so that would be 30. Then I've done Tokyo once, which would be 31. I've done Disneyland Paris twice, so that would be 33. And California once would bring it to 34, if we're including everything. Rhiannon asks, if you could go to dinner with 3 characters, who would they be? Oh my gosh, that's a really interesting one. I think I would have to say, and this would be the weirdest dinner situation ever, Mr. Toad, Lotso, and then probably Minnie, just to bring some happiness and normality to the situation, because Mr. Toad's a little crazy, Lotso can be a little grumpy, so I feel like we would need Minnie to balance those two out. But I feel like that would be my Disney dinner party guests. Let me know in the comments actually, because that's a really good question. If you could go to dinner with 3 Disney characters, which would your 3 be? I'll just do a couple more questions here and then I'll move on. Louise asks, have you curled your hair? It really suits you. I had this question a lot of times, you guys asking about my hair on this trip. Now, aside from the fact that it's turned orange in places, which I discussed in a recent vlog, that's my sunscreen that has turned it orange, but the actual waviness of it, I use a waving iron. Loads of you have commented and asked me what I use, so perhaps I will try and show you maybe when I do my hair tomorrow in tomorrow morning's vlog, and I will link it in the description below as well, the waver that I use. But it's actually really easy, and I find it stays in better than if you curl it. If I use a curling iron and it's very humid, that tends to just drop down, whereas this I find it does stay in. And let's take a quick look in Memento Mori while we're in this area, and they have this jacket again, the one I saw the other day, that feels like kind of it almost feels like wetsuit material is the only way I can describe it. This would be really good for the Halloween party tonight, except it's a sweatshirt, so it'd be entirely too hot. But other than that, this would be good. And I love this Haunted Mansion pet bed. It's very cool, it's like a doom buggy. I was gonna tell you how much it is, but I can't find the price. I love this ornament. That's very, very nice. It is, I think, $399 though. They have Leota there. I do love this candlestick ornament. That's very cool. I'm gonna head back in this direction to the location by PhilharMagic to get my wristband for the party, because it's coming up time for that now. And one of the things I'm looking forward to about the party this evening is seeing everybody's costumes. Some people really go all out with their costumes. Other people have like family costumes that are really impressive as well. So hopefully we'll see some good ones as we go round. So I'm now over in Tomorrowland, and doing this wandering Q&A is a little bit harder in the Magic Kingdom than it has been in the other parks, because there's just not as many places to stop here, and everywhere is quite noisy. There's quite a lot of like music or like people everywhere, so it is a little bit harder to get to a place where you guys are going to be able to hear me when I'm answering these questions. Hopefully you can hear me okay here. So Chard is asking, do you recommend Garden Grill for breakfast? We're heading to Orlando in 61 days. Yes, I actually love Garden Grill for breakfast. It feels like one of the less busy locations for breakfast. I don't know whether it is, but just the setup of the restaurant and the kind of setting of it, it never feels quite as crazy. It's not a buffet, so they bring the food over to you, so you're not kind of like walking around. And the last time I did it, we got lots of interaction with the characters. We saw them all multiple times, and the food was really good too. Daniel asks, would you ever do Halloween Horror Nights? I get asked this question a lot. I would consider doing it. Firstly though, I would not do it by myself because I feel like I would be too scared. So if I do it in the future, it will have to be a time when I'm here with someone. And the thing that scares me is actually going through the houses. I don't know how I would feel about that. And also just, I'm not good with like people jumping out on me and stuff, and I've seen videos and vlogs of people walking around and like the scare actors kind of coming right up to them or jumping out, and I don't know how I feel about it. I am a bit nervous to do it, but I think at some point I might do. So I would consider it, but I haven't got plans to do it this year. Price is asking, which do you think is the best resort for a break in the middle of park day? It depends where you are. So if you were at Animal Kingdom, I would definitely say Animal Kingdom Lodge because it's the closest. You just jump on a bus and go across to there. If you're at Hollywood Studios, I would normally get on the boat and go across to the Swan and Dolphin. I do love going to the Swan and Dolphin because it's very quiet there for the most part. Unless there is a conference, then it can be a little bit busier, but that rarely seems to happen when I go there. It's always nice and quiet. If you're in Epcot, you do have a lot of choice. I would normally go to the Beach Club or the Boardwalk. If you wanted to, you could get onto the Skyliner and go down to the Riviera. That's a very nice resort to sit and have a drink. They have a nice little coffee bar there and an area where you can sit that's like a library. It's very, very nice. And if you're in the Magic Kingdom, again, you have lots of choice there. I like to go to the Contemporary, and if you go onto the level that has the entrance to California Grill, they have a lot of sofas on that floor, and there's very rarely anybody there. You could also get the boat across to Wilderness Lodge. You also have Grand Floridian and the Polynesian right there. But probably my favourite, if I'm in the Magic Kingdom, I do tend to go to Wilderness Lodge quite a lot because it's a little bit quieter than perhaps the Polynesian if you're looking to take a relaxing break. And Megan asks, which was your favourite trip you've ever done, and do you feel like the magic is fading? That is a good question in terms of which was my favourite that I've ever done, because that is such a hard question to answer because I have done so many, and obviously the more recent ones are easier to remember than the ones from a long time ago. I did love my trip with Mum. She's been wanting to come for so many years, and she's heard so much about it, and she loved everything. And we did have a more relaxed kind of pace because we just wanted to have something more resembling like a vacation and a holiday than necessarily when I'm here kind of vlogging and doing all of that. I did vlog it, but it was more relaxed, so I loved that trip. I really liked the trip I did in 2018 with Kate as well, actually, when we did Christmas. So we did Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, and I do remember that one being particularly great. I remember seeing the snow on Main Street for the first time, so I really loved that one actually in 2018. And I did love the trip that Ian and I did where we were here for Rise of the Resistance opening day. That was a very special one as well because I loved that experience. We were one of the first people on, and that was really great. But there's just been so many good ones. I've loved them all. I love when I come with Becky as well. Yeah, very, very hard to pick. And in terms of the magic, does it ever fade? Definitely not. The one thing that is a little bit different for me from when I used to travel maybe once every 2 years to Disney World, because I come a lot more often now, you definitely don't get that same build up to the trip. So where you've been waiting like a couple of years and you're like counting down the days, repacking your suitcase 10 times, you guys know what I'm talking about. I know there's people who do that. You're researching restaurant menus and absolutely everything like that. I don't tend to have that anymore because I just travel so regularly that side of it does fade. But as for when I'm here and I'm in the parks and I'm walking into the Magic Kingdom for the first time, or I'm walking around Epcot, the magic just doesn't fade for me. I can honestly say that. I do Disney now a lot more than I did in my early trips 20 years ago. I used to just do a couple of the parks back then on a 2-week trip, and I used to do Universal a lot. Now I'm obviously all about Disney and I absolutely love it. I will admit I do prefer coming in the cooler weather. I love my trips in kind of February or December. My enthusiasm for coming to Disney and traveling to Orlando just gets more, not less. Samantha says, have you ever experienced the Skyliner with long waits? What's the best strategy to use? I will say with the Skyliner, I love it. As you know, it's one of my favourite modes of transportation here now at Disney. But I do find if you are trying to get on it at park closing, I have seen some very long lines for that. So if you are going to be planning to travel back to your resort by Skyliner, I would plan to just not leave right as soon as Fantasmic is letting out, for example. Then everybody is going to be going at the same time, or when it's park closing. Same for Epcot. If you just watch the fireworks and then you leave to go, the Skyliner will have a massive line. I would tend to either hang back, have a little wander around, just enjoy walking around the World Showcase with barely anyone there, wait for everyone to go and then try and go to the Skyliner. Same goes for Hollywood Studios, or leave a little bit earlier if you're not planning on watching the fireworks or Fantasmic. Try and go before the crowds, because those lines do get incredibly long and it is not fun when you're tired and you've been on your feet all day then standing in that line. So yeah, just avoid leaving right on closing if you can. Ree asks, if you're staying on site, where is the best place to rent a car for a few days? Alamo actually has a car care centre. It's not too far from the Magic Kingdom, and that's where we've rented a car before. We just got an Uber to the car care centre and then picked up the car. And there is also another one over at the Swan and Dolphin. That's another place where we have rented a car. So if you're looking to actually pick up your car at Disney rather than the airport, if you're just having it for a couple of days, I would say Swan and Dolphin or the car care centre. And in the past, whenever we rented a car, it was always through Alamo. I always used to find that the best, and there's no hidden fees with that one. If you're booking it from the UK with Alamo, the price you see tends to be the price you pay. Some of the other rental companies, you then come to pick up the car and there's like hundreds of dollars of extra charges. So I've only ever used Alamo and they were always really good. Tamara asks, what is your favourite restaurant at Disney, including the hotels? So my favourite restaurant has always been Ohana, as you guys know. I absolutely love it. And overall, I would say it still is. I love the atmosphere there. I love the Polynesian. I do love the food as well. It is quite pricey these days, so I don't do it every single trip. I have to say though, in terms of food, Haleo may have just taken the top spot now for the best food that I have had. I absolutely loved it both times. I've done it back in June and on this trip, and now I would say Haleo food-wise is up there for me, but probably overall I would still say Ohana. It's just a classic for me. I've done it so many times. I do absolutely love it. Roundtree is asking, is September a good time to go to Disney World? We've booked for next September. September definitely is a good time in terms of crowds. So the wait times on this trip have been really low for the most part, especially on days when the Halloween party is in the evening. The Magic Kingdom wait times have been really low during the day. It is hot though, I will say. July, August, September, it is very, very warm. As long as you don't mind that, then it's definitely a good time to come in terms of crowds. And of course you have Food and Wine Festival, you have the Halloween party as well. So it is definitely a good time to be here for sure. So I'll just do one more question here and then I will move on. Helen says, what are the best tips for coping with the Florida heat and the huge amount of walking? Definitely in terms of walking, if you are not used to walking a lot, maybe you work from home or you work in an office job, you don't do a lot of walking, I would definitely say practice walking before you come out. Whether it's on a treadmill, whether it's just walking around and about where you live, building up to going on longer walks. I wouldn't just go from doing virtually no walking and standing to suddenly coming out here and being standing and walking as much as you are, because after a few days of it, it will really start to burn if you are not used to it. So try and build up your stamina, I would say, before you come out. And in terms of the heat, the number one thing is this, I cannot stress that enough. This fan, I could not do the parks in this heat without it. I bring a power bank and a cable to charge it as I'm walking around. Really, really important. It will keep you cool. Honestly, it's just the best thing ever. Drinking a lot of water, taking breaks. So make sure you're going in and out of air conditioning where you can, whether it's looking around a store, going in a show or attraction that has air conditioning. Just try not to be walking around non-stop in the heat. Pace yourself, I guess is what I'm saying, and definitely using your fan. And another thing, this is just a weird tip, but normally you use your fan outside and then when you walk into the air conditioning you would turn it off. I actually find when you use the fan in the air conditioning, it kind of like doubles down on the cooling, so it cools you down quicker if you use the fan inside in the air conditioning, and then you can kind of cool down completely before you're then setting off to walk around again. So that is something I found this time. Okay, I'm on the move again, and I think I am going to potentially try and answer some of your questions on the People Mover. I'm not sure how successful that will be because of the narration, but I'll try my best. And when the party gets going later, I do need to find the merchandise location that sells the party specific merchandise, because I did see earlier a mug that I would really like to have, and also I would like a pin if possible. I think that's usually over in the Emporium on Main Street. Okay, the People Mover has a pretty epic line there. I don't know how I feel about that, so I might come back and do that a bit later. And the crowds are really starting to come in now for the party. It's around 5 PM, so this is the time that it will start getting busy now. And over here they do have a Mr. Toad's Wild Ride photo op. I did get that the other day, and this is where they have another wristband distribution. So if you've been in the park for a few hours before, that is another spot where you can get your wristband. Oh, a Kevin costume. I love your costume. So I'm just back here around near the hub, and I can see lots of people coming in that side entrance now. I feel like we definitely need a few questions with the castle in the background, right? Okay, this is definitely a good spot to do a few more questions here. So one question I've had from multiple people is whether I'm planning to meet Figment on this trip. I am going to be going to Epcot tomorrow, that's my last day in the parks. I'm just not sure, it depends on the wait time. I saw the first day that Figment was meeting and greeting, there was a 5-hour line. Some people were reporting 3 hours, and if I do things like that, it does limit the vlog quite a bit because I'm just stood in line for a long time. So it depends. If there's not a long line, I will try and do it. Certainly on an upcoming trip I will, even if I don't this time. Georgie asks, what is my favourite non-Disney thing to do in Orlando? Just going to Target count? Probably not. That's probably not what you mean, but that is one of my favourite non-Disney things to do when I'm in Orlando. But I would say in terms of like other attractions, probably Kennedy Space Centre is so interesting, and I did vlog it the other day. I will link that below. It's really, really good and just a different pace, a lot more relaxed. It's not usually very busy there, so that's probably my other favourite thing to do besides Disney and going to Target. And Rose asks, have I started planning my 2024 trips yet? Yes, I do know roughly when I'm going to be travelling, and I'm also hoping to do a couple of different things next year. I would love to do a cruise, that is something that I'm looking into. I would also love to do Disneyland Paris next year, and to stay in the new Disneyland hotel there would be incredible. So who knows, maybe that will even be a possibility. I did have quite a lot of questions about how I book my trips. So some people were saying, do I use a travel agent, or where do I book? Do I book flights separately? I always book everything separately. So my flights I always book with Virgin Atlantic or British Airways directly with the airline. And then in terms of hotels, if I'm booking Disney, I book direct with Walt Disney Travel Company. I will link that below. I always book directly. I just find it a lot easier whenever you have to change anything. When the pandemic happened, for example, I was able to easily change things, so I always book with them. And if I'm booking off-site hotels like Endless Summer on this trip, or when I stay in other off-site hotels, I tend to use Travel Republic. That's just who I always use. They're always a good price and they have a lot of options. And Laura had an interesting question. Are there any restaurants you will absolutely never eat at? There's not very many that I would just not do. There's quite a few that I struggle to like anything on the menu. So if there's a restaurant that I haven't done yet, that's probably why, because I am just a little bit of a picky eater, so I sometimes struggle to find something that I would like. I think the one that I probably just won't do is Victoria and Albert's, because I am quite a fussy eater and I don't really eat a lot of meat. I will eat chicken sometimes and occasionally a burger, but I'm really not very adventurous, and I feel like it would be wasted on me because it's such a fine dining experience, and I just feel like it wouldn't be worth it. I wouldn't make the most of it, and I wouldn't kind of enjoy it for the amount of money it costs to go there. So probably that one, but only because I am a little picky and I just think it would be wasted on me. Okay, let's just do one more here. A couple of you asked if I'm going to be doing the new Moana attraction on this trip. Sadly not. I was hoping there might be annual pass previews, and there are going to be in I think a week or 10 days time, and I will have gone home by then unfortunately, so I'm just going to miss it. It does look amazing. I've seen a few little clips here and there, but when I come back in December I will definitely be able to do it then. I've just been looking up at these clouds and it is looking a tiny bit grey. I'm just really hoping we're not going to get anything like I witnessed last night. That crazy storm, if you saw that vlog, it was very, very rainy. We do not want that for the Halloween party, thank you. Not allowed. I am already seeing some amazing costumes for tonight's party. I can't wait to show you those in the upcoming vlog, which will be the Halloween party just on its own. I'm going to do that as a separate vlog. And again, you can see here on Main Street how busy the parties get. People are really coming in now. So it goes from being really quiet during the day to very busy in the evening. And I've met so many of you guys in the park today, and lots of you just arriving now for the party. So hello to everyone who came up to say hi today. I love meeting you all. We'll have a little brief merchandise browse while we're here. I am potentially in the market for a new phone case because I bought that new pop socket and I can't really get the Mickey off very easily that I stuck on it the other day, so I might need a new case. They do actually have a Halloween one. There aren't really any here that I like, so I'm not going to buy one just for the sake of it. I'll just keep looking. Okay, I think it's time to wrap up this vlog now. I'm going to finish this one here. There's a lot going on this evening in terms of parade, fireworks and everything else, so I'm going to do that one as a separate episode, so you will see that next week. Again, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's come up to say hi today. I've met so many of you. I'm sure I will the rest of this evening as well. Everyone seems to be here tonight for the party. I hope you guys enjoyed this as always. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up, and I will answer some more of your questions in another upcoming video. I may even do another separate Q&A because I had so many questions, so if yours didn't get answered, don't worry, I am going to do another Q&A. I may even potentially do that in a couple of days time and just do some more on this trip because I really did have so many questions. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch as always. I hope you guys are well, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!